You're 30,000 feet above the ground, it's dark, stormy, and you've been circling the airport for over an hour. The fuel gauge is dipping dangerously low. You look at the captain. He's calm, but you sense the tension. Air traffic control keeps giving you holding instructions, unaware that your aircraft is minutes from disaster. This wasn't a movie. This was Avianca Flight 52, a tragedy where silence cost lives and a single word might have saved them. Before we unravel this chilling event, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon because what you're about to hear will change the way you think about aviation forever. January 25, 1990. A Boeing 77 takes off from Medellin, Colombia. The weather forecast isn't ideal, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. The experienced crew of Avianca Flight 52 is confident as they head toward New York. What they don't know? A brutal winter storm is waiting. As the aircraft climbs through the clouds, the problems have already begun, though no one realizes it yet. Back in Colombia, the crew received outdated weather reports. They were told New York was stormy, yes, but still manageable. In reality, JFK Airport was in chaos. Winds howled, rain poured, visibility was near zero. Pilots were missing landings left and right. And yet, the plane continued on. And here comes the first fatal oversight. Their alternate airport was Boston. Not because it was safe, not because anyone checked, but because Avianca's automated system always chose Boston for flights to JFK, regardless of weather. No one thought to change it. No one dared to question the system. As Flight 52 neared New York, the storm worsened. JFK was down to one runway. Dozens of planes were trying to land. The air traffic control system was overwhelmed. Flight 52 was placed into a holding pattern, then another. The aircraft was in the air, waiting for over 1 hour. All the while, fuel was vanishing, minute by minute. In the cockpit, the tension grew. The pilots glanced at the gauges. Fuel was low, critically low. But when they contacted air traffic control, they didn't say the words that could have changed everything. Instead of declaring an emergency, they said, "We need priority." A simple request, a fatal understatement. Controllers heard priority and assumed the crew still had options. Maybe they'd divert to Boston, maybe they just wanted a quicker landing, but there was no urgency in the words, no warning of what was truly happening. They had no idea this plane was minutes from running out of fuel. Finally, clearance came for landing. The plane began its descent. But outside the windows, nothing, just wind, rain, and darkness. At 200 feet above the ground, they still couldn't see the runway. The captain had no choice. He aborted the landing. Now the aircraft was nearly empty. As it climbed again, desperately trying to position for another attempt, the first officer quietly told, "We're running out of fuel." Still, he didn't say Mayday. He didn't declare emergency. Seconds later, the fuel tanks ran dry. All four engines stopped. The cockpit went silent. The 707 began gliding, powerless, heavy, and too low. In the black of night, Flight 52 crashed into a wooded hillside in Cove Neck, Long Island. The aircraft split into 3 jagged pieces. Screams pierced the darkness. Out of 168 people on board, 85 survived, a miracle considering the impact. But 73 souls perished, including all 3 pilots. In the aftermath, the aviation world searched for answers. What they found were cracks in the system, not mechanical, but human. Pilots were reluctant to declare emergencies out of fear, pride, or culture. Controllers didn't ask direct questions about fuel status, but out of tragedy came change. Today, pilots are trained to be direct. If they're in trouble, they must say the words Mayday or fuel emergency. There's no room for vague phrases anymore. Air traffic controllers now ask pilots about fuel and holding patterns, making sure no one runs out unnoticed. And airlines, they're required to ensure alternate airports have good weather. No more trusting outdated systems. But perhaps the most powerful lesson of all, don't assume others know what you're going through. In aviation and in life, clarity can be the difference between survival and catastrophe. If someone had just said, "Mayday, we're out of fuel," those 73 lives might still be with us today. Did this story leave you speechless? Let us know in the comments what's the most shocking aviation incident you've ever heard of. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories that change the skies forever.